North Korea is prepping a missile launch. What the heck?
We live?
Yes, sir.
Let me fire it up. I don't see it yet. Yeah, it looked really dark last week. Okay, so we have OBS up, right?
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm not showing the video. Oh, did you remember? Did you do that thing last time? Is it still private?
Yeah. Darn it. I gotta remember to go in there and do that.
Yeah, I gotta go in afterwards and make it private after.
Okay, where's Video Manager? Okay, let's click this. They've made this so difficult to navigate. I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's like I should just, when you click on your channel, you should just have all this stuff there.
Right, it should just be dialogues.
There we go, live streaming. Okay.
All right.
Okay, what are we gonna call this? Crypto.
No, the great convergence trades.
The great
convergence trade.
Convergence trade. You want to say
what's that?
We should put something about crypto in there though, because people will catch that on live.
Yeah. How about commodities? Cryptos, commodities. Let's see how we should say it. Cryptos, commodities to save your
we'll just say, how about this? Cryptos and commodities dash the great convergence trade.
Perfect. I'm still not seeing the video.
Your browser doesn't recognize any of the video formats. That's because you're stupid. Okay. Cryptos and commodities, the great convergence trade. Okay.
It's so weird. I'm not getting it. I'm a genius. There you go.
Okay. Let's go public. Save.
Oh, we are still private, that's why.
Okay, that should do it. I don't think there's a save, it just goes. Okay, so we're live.
It should just go right out. Okay. It should be a little bit of delay, right?
Why is it saying stream live? Okay.
We live?
Yeah. Let me broadcast this to the room.
I just can't. I'm just not getting in there. It's just not showing up for me.
It says it's live. I'm showing streaming.
Yeah. It's not. I don't see the video. The last one I showed is the one I did yesterday. The one you did 2 days ago.
Let's do this. No, it's definitely streaming.
Why can't I find it? Do you see how many people are looking at it?
0 so far. But
Yes.
I just brought it up.
It's so weird. Nope. I don't see it, Phil.
I don't know. Can you refresh the page?
I've been refreshing every 10 seconds.
I went to another browser, went right to the stream, the address, and then it was streaming away.
Yeah, but we have nobody viewing it, right? I don't see it, Phil.
Unfortunately, no one's responding to me. Like everyone's not even. There's nobody. Nobody's confirming for me.
Yeah. You want to try it again and start with it being public?
Well, it just keeps reverting. Hang on. Okay. How about now?
I have to give it like 30 seconds, don't I?
About, yeah, at least 10.
Here we go. We're good.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay.
Yeah. You want to try it again and start with. Here we go. I'm like frozen. We're good.
That was weird. Okay.
Hey there. Yeah. You want to try it again and start with. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing that loop. Here we go. Sorry, I didn't mute my other machine. But I'm frozen, Phil. You see that?
Yeah, I don't. Let's do this.
You want to call me back?
Well, it's just all kinds of fun today. Yep. Let's Okay, let me. I have to restart OBS. Hang on. That makes sense.
So what do I need to do? Anything?
No, you're good.
Will I start showing up live?
We're live. We're good now. It's all good.
Okay. We're doing that buffering again.
You gotta be kidding me.
Mm-mm.
So I think what it is whenever anything gets minimized with even with this stream.
Yeah.
So I have to leave that window up.
I don't hear you now.
I'm not talking.
Okay. There I am. I'm moving around now. I'm adjusting the lighting.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're good.
All right, good.
We got 4 people.
So we'll, we'll just, we're just going to kind of preamble a little bit here while we let people get on. We wanted to start this like 10 minutes early instead of 10 minutes late, but you know, YouTube and Skype together just creates all kinds of just glitches.
An added layer of trouble.
Of complexity that we don't really need. So, but I'm still looking a little dark. That's so weird. I mean, I have 3,500 lumen 2 feet from my face. Can you guys see me okay? I mean, do I look too dark or am I okay?
I think it's okay. I mean,
okay.
I mean, it could be lighter, but I mean, it's.
Yeah, I'll take it overhead. It doesn't really matter.
You just need multiple lights. I think it's the only way.
You know, be like a I'd be like a sauna in here.
Not with LEDs.
No, that's true. It's amazing because I have lights, that we did for our solar business when we were in attics and stuff, and we were afraid to use them because they'd get up to about 1,000 degrees.
Yes.
Those old halogen lights. I'm like, whoa! You couldn't touch them for like a half hour after you turn them off.
Well, while we wait for people to accumulate, we could look at the week in review.
Yeah, let's look through that.
Yeah, so basically, with Bitcoin, we've cruised through this price channel, which I accidentally deleted the top part of it and put that back. But it's just been cruising through this price channel just beautifully,
It's just amazing. I mean, it hit it to the dollar for you.
To the dollar, yeah. And you can see where all of our, here's your support zones. So now the next, if you had another big 30% pullback, which who knows, those could be diminishing returns now. We could be entering that phase where we don't see the 30 and 40% pullbacks. I think we probably could see another 30, especially if it broke out of this channel and really went parabolic. Definitely, for sure, you could probably see a 30% pullback. I don't know if we'll see 40s anymore, though.
No, I just read an article that showed. I'll send it to you, and you can put it out on one of your feeds. Is that, and we talked about this before. The volatility of the Bitcoin moves have been decreasing significantly.
Yeah.
So so as it gets just like in the economics, the more velocity there is, or the more people that have access to it, the tighter the ranges are going to get, which is actually a really good thing because then it'll start generating, trading velocity, that's what we need for it to become mainstream.
Let's see if I have that volatility chart. It showed it. Basically a line graph showing the diminishing volatility. I don't think I have that handy. But
yeah, that's incredible. I just saw it this morning. Actually, I was gonna throw it up there, but today really is not going to be the purpose of was crypto. But I mean, just $1,000 24-hour move is probably worth talking about.
Well, yeah, no, and then the other thing too is whenever we've had a very large day like October 12th was a $600+ day, and if you look back on July 20th, it was a similar type day. I mean, those are just kickstarters, and I don't care if we're toward the top of the channel. You're gonna see some follow through on that. That's why I think everyone's thinking this is gonna roll over, because I'm not the only one with this price channel up, but I think this is going to be one of those times where you have a really good chance that it's just going to take out a bunch of shorts, and two reasons. One is that I think you've got the forks that are coming up. So everyone saw what happened in Bcash, which was back here in July, and then everybody saw what happened, that if you were in Bitcoin, you got all that Bcash. And a lot of people made out pretty decently. I mean, that was just like one gigantic airdrop of Bitcoin in because you converted it for Bitcoin, right? When you got your allocation, when the Bitcoin Cash forked off. And so I think now this time people are like, hey, we want our allocation. So now you got Bitcoin Gold, which isn't really, that's not a player. The one that everybody's eyeballing is SegWit 2X in November. I was just a little bit surprised that it was happening already. And I don't know if that's because people were not understanding Bitcoin Gold as far as the fork and what that meant, because I don't really think it's a fork of any consequence, but getting in ahead of that. But I thought we'd see this next month ahead of SegWit 2X. So it's just interesting we saw the consolidation out of alts into Bitcoin this early.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's the the Chinese coming off their golden week too, because gold popped as well. So I think a lot of the Chinese gamblers that love to trade these cryptos, they came in and started buying, and they created the squeeze. And so that's also something to think about. We may get a consolidation, and then the blow off comes in November, where where it pushes up to 7 or 10,000 and then sits.
I think at that point, I think after the 2x fork, this is my read, is that yeah, we'll get some consolidation or correction because everyone's got their allocation. If 2x is contentious enough and it seems like it's split down the middle, that might be one thing. People might hold and wait to see what happens and what's going to be the majority. But if the 2x support keeps waning as it is, like every day somebody's pulling support for it, and personally I think it's just unnecessary at this point, but there's those out there that want to prove a point. They want bigger blocks no matter what. Then, but if they go ahead with it and it doesn't have anywhere near majority, then it's just going to be an altcoin like Bcash, and I think that would further amplify the chances for a correction after that.
No, I agree, and then and I have to apologize in advance. My dog doesn't know why he can't be in the room, so I apologize. I agree, and for people listening, if you guys have questions, this time is really for you too. Just put it in the live chat, and we'll answer them as we go. And what we wanted to talk about today, we want to start cryptos, because cryptos, there's a really interesting thing happening right now. Is that a lot of people, the world is binary, and I think a lot of times people have been looking at things in terms of left and right. But now I think people are looking at things a little bit differently. They're really looking at things in terms of concrete versus abstract, real versus counterfeit, and the elites versus the rest of the people. And that these bifurcations, I think, are starting to manifest themselves in the stock market. And it's no accident that the cryptocurrencies have moved first, because what happened there is it's the purest trading vehicle right now, because the ability to counterfeit the coins are practically zero, and the ability to fractionally lend it is limited theoretically to just 1x, or well, actually 2x, 1 times the amount of coins out there. But practically much less than that, because I would think probably you would know better, but I bet I would hazard a guess saying 70-80% of these coins are in cold storage and not even available to even be lent out. And so the cryptos have moved first, because I think people are seeing that we're reaching these end states in terms of the benign environment that the central banks have created by, on one hand, they're buying stocks to try to lift all the pension funds up so that they can make their allocations, so that they can pay the retirees off, and taking all that onto their balance sheets. And at the same time, they're suppressing alternatives. And the cryptos, they can't really suppress. Jamie Dimon has proven yet again his inability to jawbone this thing down. People simply don't believe him anymore. And the people that are buying these coins never really viewed Jamie Dimon as a credible source of information or take financial advice from. But now we're starting to see, this year for the first time, gold starting to fight back as well. And then the other commodities starting to lift too, because you're seeing copper and steel. Because you have to realize, the elites will be in these big cryptos. The elites can buy gold, but the middle entrepreneurs in China, they're going to use steel and copper and silver and as their speculation vehicles, and that'll be the same in the U.S. And then now we're going also into what's called a La Nina year, and 2011 was the last La Nina year, and that spiked ag prices, and that also killed the central banks. And if I can, in a second here, I'll ask Phil if I'll share the screen. I'm just going to show you how out of balance some of this stuff has become. And what people are really struggling with today is that the central bankers, I think, will keep buying until food and energy gets to be intolerable. So just shorting the overvalued market has proven to be a fool's game, because the central banks are just overwhelming the short sellers, just like they're overwhelming the short sellers in the cryptos. So there's two ways to play it, and I had to shift gears myself too, because just trying to play these overbought bounces that you can then ride back down to like VWAP's not working. They're just keeping it overbought. So now we have to look to start buying, oversold commodities, and we're starting to get some moves there. So, Phil, if I give you my screen, I'm going to put up a chart if you don't mind. Let me see here. See if this works. Share screen. I'm going to start here. And I'm going to go to here. Let's see if that comes up.
Hang on, I'm going to make you bigger for the moment.
Okay, good.
And then we're going to...
All right, so, whoops. There we go. So my chart here is I just wanted to show you guys, and a lot of times when people are trading too is that, if you're day trading, your mindset ends at the end of the day, and if you're swing trading, that's another thing. But if you're looking to preserve your wealth or to build your wealth, this chart should really get your attention, because if you're just blindly, passively following the market with a financial advisor, on some of your stuff, and some of my stuff is professionally managed, and some of it's trading and some of it's speculation, is that you need to start advising your advisors that we've now broken below the biggest spread between financial assets and real assets ever. In fact, this chart's even worse now, ever. And what it's saying is that they pulled all the stops out in terms of being able to keep this mirage alive. And the other chart I want to show you is, let me see here, it's on Twitter, this is the other thing they used. And if you look down here on the bottom, I'm a little ahead of myself here. There's always a delay, so I apologize between talking and, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me thinking that. The volatility here is we now have the most contract short for VIX shorts or volatility ever. And these things have, what they use this for is this signals the market that says volatility is so low that the risk managers and these algorithms are allowed to take on more risk in terms of their portfolios. And when I did M&A work, we were always given guidance as to what the cost of capital and the PE we're allowed to generate and things of that nature. And if we expected interest rates to go higher or our cost of capital to rise, then we had to be harder on our targets in terms of what price we would. It's the same thing in the stock market. When they see volatility is so incredibly suppressed, then they go ahead and they continue to buy. But we're at a point now where the CME is starting to raise margin on these contracts, and they have a fiduciary responsibility, and I don't know if anybody there doesn't have self-preservation skills. Is that once this thing breaks, if this thing goes just back to zero, you're looking at stock market corrections that are in the order of magnitude of of 50 to 70%. And so, the central banks may keep trying to buy as long as food and energy goes down, so they may mitigate some of that loss. But as soon as they start shifting gears, they're going to release the shorts on gold and on commodities as well, and it's just going to start. It's going to start a convergence trade that'll be incredible. And we have an opportunity to buy into that, and especially going into a La Nina year, and then you're looking at what the Russians are doing with the Saudis, and in terms of taking a supply off the market. Inventories now for oil are starting to dry up, and so now when we thought it was going to be $40 oil, it looks like base is now coming in around $50 oil. If oil crosses over 60, you're at a point now where gasoline gets to a point where it's reaching a certain percentage of GDP that becomes problematic for the economy. So a lot of things are lining up for this trade to really reverb. And once the central banks are forced out of the markets, there's no natural buyers. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Phil.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think commodities, excuse me, I think commodities right now is a great play. I think we're going into a pretty bullish leg, actually, for gold and silver. I got tired of a lot of the just the central bank manipulation going on, and so I did move, like in my 401k, I moved a ton of it into SLV, and that's been doing super good. So I think that's going to be the hyperinflationary trade, because like you said, you can't do all of this, central bank intervention, and it's just it's like the laws of physics. There's going to be a manifestation of hyperinflation from all this money printing. So yeah, commodities and now cryptocurrencies, are going to and that's the interesting thing with like Bitcoin too, because there's such a limited supply. You're going to see, I think, some very parabolic moves. And I think we're in one of these periods where we get a leg up, and you're not going to see these price levels again, similar to when we left like the 1500 level, and then the mid 2000 level. And I think we've just done that in the last couple of days with this big move up. So, but it's all playing into that. I think that's a hyperinflationary defense, and I think people that are in the know, like financial people, like the Jamie Dimon, maybe not Jamie Dimon himself, but there are others that I think are also looking at that too, and are also moving into crypto, but not saying it, So.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. They know their job owning it. You notice nobody's asked him, if he personally owns any of this stuff. He's using very, very careful language, and how he positions it, but we don't know. You never rely on what these guys say. You rely on what they do, and so I just think they're accumulating all these things, and we know China and Russia are, and one of the things that people don't realize is that Russia is now actually buying gold on the open market through their stock exchange, and China is going to accept gold as payment for their oil markets, the futures markets they're creating. So what they're attempting to do is they're attempting to force an issue with dollar hegemony, and which means dollar dominance, and so those are things you have to bear in mind, because this can unwind really fast. I don't know if people realize, but if you go back and you look at November of 2015, this market was just gliding along. And then China does a devaluation of their currency, and next thing you know it, we're down 18% in 6 weeks, and that's really fast. And people are right now people are so passive that once this goes, there's 3 or 4 ETFs that are all buying the same thing, and you may own all of them without even knowing it. So you're going to just get, the liquidation is going to be incredible. So, but instead of shorting it, start buying the undervalued stuff, because that's what's going to start to move when these fiats start to crumble. And I'm looking at DBA, and here's one that had very low volume, but it's really good to to see what's going on in the space. This is cocoa. This is breaking out of a nice W base, and then you're looking at JJG here, that it's coming out of a channel here that I'm watching, and these things start breaking out, you can make 10-20% on your money very, very quickly. And then gold has just been beautiful. And look, I want to compare this with the yen, and this is what I'm talking about when the central bankers have to stop. Is look at the charts are identical, and see here, look at this move here. We're ready to get another up move in the Japanese currency, and when this goes, gold and oil will follow. Silver, when I say gold, I mean gold, silver miners. They're all going to follow, and because this is the mechanism they've been using to suppress it, and when this goes away, because at some point the Japanese are devaluing their currency at such a rate that they could starve their people if there's an energy crisis or a food crisis. And you can see now they're rolling it back up again. And so these are opportunities for us. And once you start getting this allocation change, then the ball gets rolling. Because, at the end of the day, these fund managers are paid to make money. And if they think, the move to Amazon and the move to Google and Facebook are overdone, they're going to roll out of those things. They're going to start rolling into things that are working, especially central banks that have to show their people, especially like Switzerland and Japan, that they're holding the right assets for their people. If you think food prices are going to go up, I can guarantee you they're going to be buying food-related ETFs, as hedges.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's that's the big wild card, right? If food prices spike, the central banks are done. They're absolutely done. That's the one thing they can't control.
Yeah, you can't print food.
You can't print food.
I know that you could 3D print it probably, but the feds can't counterfeit. But hey, somebody asked about a high blockchain technology. Have you heard of that, Phil?
Let me take a look at the chat real quick here. And I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any chat.
Yeah, I have it up here. It says, "Are you aware of high blockchain technologies, or PRELF?"
No.
Yeah, it's something we're gonna have to research for you. YouTube. So, are you the whole entire YouTube, or are you just a person called YouTube? So, and what I'll do is I just pulled up.
Let me. I'll get the chat up here. My other screen's not showing it.
Yes, we can always research it too. So, but one of the things that we're doing too here to help you guys is that we put our first version of the crypto money machine on TradingView, and then we're I guess we're within hours or so, or at least maybe over the weekend, we'll get version 2, which is designed to provide better stop outs, if you will, and we're going to modify the code where it's really buy and out. And so if you're a crypto customer already, we're going to let you play with this this software signal to the end of the year at no additional charge. And if you're not a crypto client, you can sign up at TradeGeniusAcademy.com and just buy the crypto course. It's 50% off through the rest of the weekend using the promo code October, and then you'll have access to the trading room for a year in addition, and then the software to the end of the year. But what we're doing also is we're taking the code that we did with the this and with the day trading money machine, and we're creating an ETF swing trade money machine as well for those that want to trade ETFs on the hourly, and that'll be released sometime before the end of the month, and it'll be available for the ETF customers. And if you're not an ETF customer, that we'll be putting out we'll be putting out an offer there for you guys too, so you can take advantage of it. But this is the way both Phil and I trade in terms of looking for money flows and volume pushes into the stock, but getting on the right side of the trend, and then we combine that with our VWAPs and volume profile to look for good levels to attack. And you can see that with Phil's charts when he puts the channels up. He always has volume profile up there. Okay, the downtrend is done, and we're seeing money flows coming in, and we're seeing an opportunity to buy the stock at this price. And for me, this is how I like to trade. In and out short swings, and these should be designed for good 2-3 day moves, and for anywhere between 3 and 10% depending on the market cap of the stock, but always limiting your loss to 2 or 3%. So we're pretty excited about it. It's actually a meeting of the mind. It's signals that I've been using combined with signals that Phil's been using, each independent of each other, and we took the best of both, and we think we have a winner here. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Phil, but we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, part of the thing that we teach is, we
locked up. We just locked up, Phil.
Okay. I don't know why. It says it's streaming.
There you go, you're back in. I'm going to step out for 1 second just to calm the dog down. But go ahead, chat a second, I'll be right there.
Sorry about the buffering there, but what Bob was saying was that we're coming out with this indicator, and part of what we teach is about building up your portfolio in Bitcoin terms, and so you get to ride these ratio waves, and so this could be shorter term. It's meant to work on the daily, but you could catch some shorter term swings with it. We've got one more tweak that we need to do to it, and then we'll be distributing that. We'll send it out to the room subs first, and I think you guys will really like it. And that way you guys can take and look at your own portfolio of things you like to look at, and go ahead and take some entries. But we'll still continue to send out signals as far as when we see like really low hanging fruit, as far as technical moves and stuff like that on some of these coins.
Yeah, so, and coins and ETFs, because we can't follow everything, but the rules of the trading apply to most of these stocks and most of these cryptos. There's some that just naturally struggle with technical indicators, and if you see one trading that's not working, just ask us, and we'll probably look at it and tell you that's just some of them just don't work very well. They're too choppy, or they just can't hold a trend. But yeah, this will be a strategy. This will be overlaid right onto your charts, and I think TradingView will let you even use this strategy without even paying them for the software. But if you want to do futures, which we'll add to as well, that's something that will require you to have real-time access, and you'll have to pay. It's probably $100 a month to TradingView plus exchange access to use it, like I use it for Thinkorswim. So we'll have a Thinkorswim version on TradingView at some point, but you'll have to buy their premium package to be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be. I think it's going to be a useful tool in the toolkit. But like you said, we can't look at everything all the time. But in your spare time, you could go through all the charts, and like I said, it's on the daily. I think it's really good for those swing trades. You could probably consistently pick up 7 to 10%, and then once in a while you'll get a runner. So I don't know, Bob. I mean, one thought I had on that was, when we distribute that, is just to let them know that you probably want to target that range, and then leave a little bit on for if you do get that. Like in cryptos, you can get 100% move. It's caught those before. ETFs is a little bit more less volatile, but so you won't see those crazy percentages. But that would be the approach I would recommend with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and what I think we're going to do is once we release the both versions, we'll do a webinar just showing people how to use it, and then how we scale in or out, or how we move stops to follow a trade in addition to this our signal, warning us, because you got to move. If you look at Ripple here, this is a classic example. Is that you had give me 1 second here.
I'm going to jump in real quick. Trader CA had a question about do you on the BTC USD on the USD crypto charts. So to answer your question, and Laura also answered it, but yeah, Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken. But if you're in Canada, I don't know if Trader CA means California or Canada. If you're in Canada, there is an exchange up there that you could do that. And I will bring that up for you in a second. But yeah, there are exchanges you can via ACH bank transfer and send it over to the exchange. And that's one. Right now you have Coinbase, and then you have some of the other exchanges. That's pretty much the only way. There's some other services too, like bitquick.co and coinmama.com. They don't work everywhere. Some states, because of state regulations, they can't operate in. But those are pretty much the only ways now. Again, this is early adoption phase, so a lot of this stuff is a little immature as far as getting. It's not easy to get your money into the system. Probably the easiest thing is if you had a crypto ATM machine somewhere in the city or near you. The drawback with that is you're going to pay for the ease of getting into crypto that way, because they got a pretty steep fees. But you would have, you'd instantly have some Bitcoin if you went that route. But I think probably in the next 12 months, it'll get a lot easier to get, go ahead and purchase crypto. Coinbase is going to make it so that you can get crypto same day. I think right now you have, unless you use a debit card, which is very limited to like $500 a day or a week, you'll be able to get your account set up and you'll be able to buy and get crypto the same day, which normally takes, I think, 5 or 7 days for Coinbase to actually, once they take your initial order, to actually fund your account with actual cryptocurrency. So it'll speed up, things will get faster. But right now, with this early adoption phase, some of this stuff, entry into it with money, with dollars, is a little bit arduous at the moment.
Yeah, and with Coinbase, for me personally, because I added capability of, because I've been drip buying and I wanted to expand the amount of money I wanted to put in each week, is that when I went ahead and verified my identity, they told me it could be between 5 and 7 days, and the very next day they sent me the bank verification, and that day they allowed me to purchase. So, which was, I think, so now we're down like 3 days. So they're getting better and better. And also too, for those people in states, I know New York and Washington have Gemini, the Winklevoss people, that you can start getting your money into the crypto world. And then, but I agree with Phil. When this gets more and more mainstream, the public pressure on these politicians is gonna be enormous, and they're gonna roll over, because people are gonna see other people getting rich, and they're gonna wonder why their politician is keeping them from achieving the American dream. And so we've already seen it opening up more and more and more. And the other thing too is I think we'll talk about this next week, Phil. Is the whole concept of what's called a decentralized exchange is coming, and that way it won't even matter. Like China tried to force the market down by saying, well, we're just not going to allow our people to trade. Well, you're going to have a decentralized exchange. They'll have to shut down every phone, every internet site, the internet itself, to keep people from trading the cryptocurrency. It's literally the genie's out of the bottle. And once these decentralized exchanges take over, is like, just because like the money, the coins are really the money of your mind, or the money of the internet, as Phil likes to say, is that the exchange will be like, do you have a domestic exchange? Yes. Do you have an international exchange? Yes. And it won't matter. And because you're going to be able to trade outside of the jurisdiction that is trying to impose, regulations on you, and that's what I'm saying. This is more than just speculation. It's going to change the way we do business entirely, and it's just going to be an incredible thing.
All right, Trader CA. So you have two options. You have EasyBTC in Canada, easybtc.ca. That's this site here, and the other one is QuadraGACX. But this is the site. I think this Quadriga. Actually, it's Quadriga CX. This is your largest. This is the big one up in Canada, and I know a couple people that are using it. So yeah, they would deal with Canadian dollars, and you could get into Bitcoin that way. So just thought I'd let you know that.
Yeah, and for those who that aren't in the room too, so we don't give away everything for free. Phil has ideas for people that or want to get into coins that are going to take advantage of this decentralized exchange concept. And because I look at things from a stock standpoint, is that I think you're going to start seeing either the credit card companies are going to have to start adopting these coins to kind of preempt their demise, or they're going to suffer significant business shortfalls when these retailers start en masse adopting a coin for their transactions, and the banks are pretty much nobody really knows what the value of the banks are anymore. So that's why I'm saying when we talk about this convergence, the cryptocurrencies are going to be the instrument of a lot of stocks in the stock market's demise. Now, there'll be new ones coming to take their place, but they're going to have to go through the private route first, or they may stay in the crypto ecosystem as coins or tokens. So, the crypto world itself is going to become a stock exchange, if you will. So that's why we're looking at this saying, okay, anything that's being suppressed via fiat commodities, would include oil, gas, gold, silver, the ags, and the crypto space. Those two things are gonna be lifting in value at the same time. Amazon is not going to survive the crypto revolution without serious impact on their ability to make profit. The same with Google, the same with Facebook. And your companies like, they'll probably do they'll do well in the crypto space, but they're not going to be harmed by it. You look at AMD.
Back up about 10 or 15 seconds, Bob. We had a little interruption in the stream.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Did you get it back again?
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay, I'm watching it. Okay, so I still see it spinning on my side. Am I just delayed?
Could be. It said it's continued, so it looks like we're live.
Okay. So I'm not sure where I was locked off, but I'm still spinning. Did you see that? Sean said if we're having problems stream, we can press the settings wheel on the video and reduce the quality of the video. Okay, looks like we're back. Well, thanks for that. We'll look into that. Hey, oh, we went back out again.
Give me 1 minute. We're gonna redo this on Chrome.
Okay.
How about now?
I'm still spinning, but sometimes it's a little delayed. Yeah, we're losing people left and right now.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it.
Okay.
Because it just, on my end, it just says it's streaming.
Yeah. Here we go. Now we're back to 24 people again. Yeah, so weird. Yeah, we haven't moved. Somewhat slow. Yeah, we're still locked, Phil.
Yeah, I don't know. I've stopped and restarted it. I don't know. Do I don't need to have the YouTube streaming interface up, right? Because
I don't think so.
I just hit stream.
It's really weird. Oh,
I think it's going.
okay. Oh wait, I'm watching from as a user. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's streaming, Bob. I'm seeing it. It's on my phone.
You see me talking because I'm locked up from
Yep.
my PC.
Hit refresh. Or
Okay.
No.
Here we go. Okay, so maybe it was on my end. So I don't know when we. Yeah, I don't know. It's just my I have two PCs up. I'm watching the video as I'm talking to. So, but what I was saying is I don't know where I lost the stream. Is that why we're excited about cryptos, number one, and commodities, number two, is that they're the antidotes to what they're doing in the fiat world, and they're running against the barriers of their utility in doing so. Cryptos have already called the ball and are positioning purchasing power for their owners against the collapses of these fiat currencies that are coming, and they're all at a point now where they're at the end of their rope. Commodities have been suppressed, and at some point the Japanese will have to stop because they're going to have some sort of issue feeding their people and providing energy for their industries, and those things are going to bring the stock market down. But in addition to that, the cryptocurrencies are changing the whole way in which we do business, and that's going to bring a lot of these ETFs down as well, because if you go from top to bottom in market capitalization, is that Apple has its own issues, but Facebook and Google are going to be disintermediated in terms of the ability of advertisers to go direct to customers. And then you're looking at Amazon, which is causing problems for Facebook and Google in terms of basically deleveraging the brand, which then reduces the advertising dollars. But the only way that Amazon makes money is through centralization of the cloud. That's their only business they're profitable in. And when we go to these decentralized exchanges, is that, or peer-to-peer on nodes, that you're not going to need Amazon or Google's cloud services to the extent that you have them. And that's going to cause their profitabilities to drop. And so you're going to have a twofer coming out. You're going to have central banks not buying these things, and at the same time, their business models are going to start to erode. And that's what we're talking about, the convergence trade. You're going to see breathtaking drops in the stock market. At the same time, you're going to see breathtaking moves higher in the cryptos and in the commodity space. And we've been banging the table on get positioned on the things that are undervalued Because if you notice, the ags have stopped going down. They may not have gone up, but they've stopped going down. Gold and silver has stopped going down. Oil and gas has stopped going down. And even though there's a lot of pressure on them in terms of futures, and volatility is at a point where we showed that chart earlier that it's just overly oversold. And all those things are going to conspire to bring everything back into more of a balance, but it's going to cause incredible pain for people. And so if you're sitting on passive ETFs with financial advisors, is that you need to start having conversations with them in terms of allocating yourself into commodities or moving some of that stuff into cash. And so those are the kind of things that we look at every day to help you at Trade Genius. Is that I'm looking at things from the futures and ETF standpoint. Phil's looking at things from the crypto and the binary option space. So, if you don't use what we do, we highly encourage you to become a customer. And if you're already a customer, we have tools that we're bringing out to you guys right now that are no charge that we want you to take advantage of. So, and we kind of ran up to our time limit here, Phil. I don't know if you want to have any final thoughts.
Yeah, I just threw up the gold chart, which we should probably talk about. But real quick, Trader CA, yeah, if you send me your Telegram username, we'll get you in there.
Yeah, and Trader CA, you're already a customer, right? Yeah, and then Brian, yeah, the blockchain's changing everything. So the blockchain simply, if you exist solely for the purpose of centralizing data and information and act as an intermediary, your business model is at risk of collapse. So entire industries are going to come up that are going to circumnavigate those block points in the economy. So yeah, so I tell people not only speculation and trading and medium of exchange, but if you're a young person, just centralize or die, and look for companies that are looking forward to this, because the companies that are centralized in their databases, you can see them, Facebook, Amazon, the federal government, anybody that centralizes data and information are at risk of collapse. And there's going to be some entrepreneurs out there that are going to say, hey, you know what? I'll get pictures from 10,000 farmers, and I'm going to go ahead and peer-to-peer that out, and I'm going to blockchain them so we can all look at the corn crop together, and we won't rely on the statistical analysis done by the USDA that typically supports the buyers of the crop by suppressing the crop prices. Now you can ignore them, and you can see, whoa, hey, the crops aren't as good as they say, and you're going to start seeing people drifting away from waiting for these reports to getting real-time data on how fast things are growing. And you pick an industry that somebody controls the data centrally, but you can get the data, by other means, by having a blockchain, and that business model is going to explode. Internet 3.0.
Yeah, and I mean anything with record keeping, accounting, things like that. Blockchains basically made it possible for like triple entry accounting, and there are actually ICOs that have come out. I think one ICO has come out. I think it was PayPal, and that was kind of their thing where it's blockchain based accounting coupled with blockchain based creditworthiness. They're creating a mechanism for that. Stuff like that I think is just going to be a monster. But again, this is just so early. We're probably in the 1994 phase of dial-up internet when it comes to this stuff. So getting in now will be really, really beneficial to your portfolio. But it's a lot to navigate through, so that's why we have the room and stuff like that. So because that's a cheap insurance policy to help guide you through this maze. There's so much information, so much disinformation out there that you could easily just think you're doing the right thing and you're not, and you're going backwards when you should be going forward by many multiples. So that's, for me, that's what I like to be able to help people do that, because I think if you get in now, it's going to be a life altering thing for, if you haven't built up a 401k or haven't had the chance to, or I've had people tell me on coaching sessions that, hey, I'm like, I'm in my 40s and, haven't really been focusing on my retirement, and, I feel like I'm running out of time. I think, cryptos is a super good avenue. And you can ask guys that are in the room. They've seen, doubles, triples on their portfolio investment from back when we started doing this in the room in May. And it's not over. It's not over by a stretch. And there's a lot of great opportunities to get those kinds of gains still. So, to me, that's pretty exciting. If we can help people out in that way, that's to me, it's very satisfying, and we're doing it. So,
yeah, and like I said, and we both have expertise in different areas that we cross-pollinate each other. But the day trading money machine, if you're a day trader, Friday was a great day to trade oil and natural gas. Phil's been hot on the cryptos, and he brings stuff up that are people just aren't on people's radar. You and I were talking the other night where you made somebody 64% in 4 hours because the signal hit and you jumped the trade, and you can't get that through these other means. It's you're in the room. You get a signal on Twitter from us that goes right to your text, and boom, you made really good money. And that's what we're here for. That's, we want to simplify things. We want to help you understand it. And by now putting more and more of this stuff into code and onto the charts themselves, we're going to try to objectify some of this stuff for you so that you can actually see it as well as hear it from us. And our goal is to help you make money every day.
Yeah, and I think
with that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What I was going to say was, but crypto is one part of it. What Bob does, a lot of people, for various reasons, it's easier for them to manage what they have, like in a 401k or some sort of managed 401k or just in their brokerage account. So Bob is, as far as managing the stocks and things that you have, he's really good at getting you in a basket that's going to take advantage of what's going to come down the pipe here. So it's really good because you got the crypto and you've got the traditional stock assets, ETF side of it. So, I think between the two, we cover everybody's exposure into financial markets and being leveraged on this. Really what we're going into is just like, hyperinflation environment. So if you're stuck in dollars, you want to be in a vehicle that's going to insulate you from that. And like I said, Bob's got those wired. He's got the baskets down as far as what's gonna do that for you. So it's just a really good 1-2 punch that we provide, I think, for preserving your portfolios against what's coming.
Yeah, and then Brian, were you asking should you hold Hive? Is that what you were asking?
I thought you said Hive blockchain, but now I'm reading it. It's Hive, Hive. Hive isn't really, I'll be honest with you, Hive isn't on my radar. I think there's other things that are going to take off. You got to keep in mind, part of what we do in the service we provide, and we're even coming out with an ICO service that will, we're going to kind of vet these things because I think we're averaging like 7 ICOs a day or something crazy like that. I'm going to tell you, 99% of what's coming out today is not going to be here in 24 months. It's just not going to happen. It's too saturated. But there are some gems out there, like really good, and they're doing things. And that's what we focus on. Because a lot of these things that come out, I'm going to tell you right now, don't have there's no reason to have a token for it. There just isn't. It's just a money grab, or they're drumming up, crowdfunding really. But what you want is something that there's a need for that token. And so that's what we focus on. But yeah, Hive just isn't one that I was really focusing on for growth in the coming 12 to 24 months, and that's what I'm focusing on right now. if they do something different, or it's a quickly changing field too. So that might change next month. They might do something that changes my mind. But right now, that's not. I think there's other opportunities out there that are, you might get in a situation where you get into something and you're going like, well, everything's moving, Bitcoin's moving, and this ICO isn't, because they're way early in the game as far as what they're trying to accomplish. They might not even have an alpha or a beta anywhere near ready for the application that they're designing. So you got to keep that in mind. I try to look at things that are going to grow relatively soon, if not now. So that's kind of the reasoning behind that.
Yeah, and Mafale, a lot of people stay away from the ICOs because they don't know what's good and what's garbage. And one thing that we asked Phil to do, because he gets asked it all the time. We come up with these ideas because we're getting demand from our clients. Is that we're going to put out an ICO alert service that, hey, this ICO came out. It's getting a lot of attention right now, and we want to tell you it's probably not a good one to be part of. And then vice versa. Hey, here's one that's coming out. I think you need to go ahead and take a shot at it if you're legally allowed to where you live. And I'll give you an example of one that Phil brought up to us, that by moving fast, Americans were able to get in on it, and then the people who were hesitating got stuck. A dim coin. And now we're sitting on 500% gain, waiting for it to open into an exchange. And so, those kind of things, Phil is wired in on this stuff, and so he shares those things in the room. We're sharing them in newsletters, and then we'll be sharing buy sells on the chart. So pretty excited, Brian. We'd love for you to. We look forward to you joining us. And so come into the room, buy the course, come into the room, and then you guys can spend a lot more detailed time talking about your the coins that you're interested in. I think we'll wrap it up, Phil. Really appreciate it. You guys have any other final questions for us before we zip off? Was this worth your guys' time today? Next week, let us know if you have any topics you want us to talk about. Things are really fluid right now. With I think biotech's probably ready to roll over. We talk about that next week. There's just a lot of fragility in the market, and I think there's some really good opportunities for us to talk about. I think the way cryptos are going, Phil, we may just have to always have a crypto segment and then dive into something on the ETF side. Maybe that's the way we'll do this in the future.
Yeah, I think we'll just tag team it. I agree.
Cool. All right, guys. You guys have a great weekend. My second love after trading is coming on. It's called the college football. Tomorrow's my third favorite is professional football, and then as soon as those are done, I get to go back to trading again. So life is great. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch Rick's question real quick.
Sure.
He talked about the Bitcoin gold fork. So basically what's happening is, first of all, Bitcoin gold is not anything to worry about. Any of these forks, there's nothing to worry about as far as your Bitcoin goes. You're gonna hold your Bitcoin, and what happens is when they fork the code, basically they take a snapshot of the blockchain in time. So like say tomorrow at a certain block height, because the blockchain grows by blocks. So they're going to pick a block height. They're going to say when that block height's reached, we're going to fork the code. So they're going to take a snapshot of the blockchain, and they're going to go from Bitcoin to whatever coin they want. So they're going to call it Bitcoin Gold. Now, when they do that, because they're taking a snapshot of the chain, if you've got 10 Bitcoin, you're going to automatically have 10 Bitcoin Gold. Or, next month it'll be SegWit 2x. So you don't have to do anything. What comes down to is, will your wallet provider give you access to those coins? Are they going to support it? Which is probably the simplest way I could explain it, because most people just rely on their wallet provider to give them coins. There's other ways if you control your keys to get claim them, but that's primarily the one everybody waits around for, is their wallet provider to give them their allotment. So there's nothing, your Bitcoins are never in danger as far as forking goes. I think where you have a concern is like if it's a contentious fork. And what I mean by that is if it's like the community, Bitcoin's decentralized as a consensus based thing, which also makes it a very powerful thing. But it's a democracy. So if people are split down the middle, and we won't know until we get closer to next month with SegWit 2x, you have a contentious fork. Okay, so then in that situation, instead of having like some Bitcoin Gold that's really just an altcoin essentially, because nobody's really supporting it with any, there's not a lot of people behind it. Kind of like Bitcoin Cash. Everybody knew that was just going to be a minority fork and be destined to be an altcoin, and now it's just devaluing every day, so it's just probably just going to evaporate at some point. But with SegWit 2x, you want to consolidate all your coins, all your Bitcoins, and I think that's what we're seeing now. We talked about that right at the beginning. And so you want to, it's like an insurance policy, right? Because if SegWit 2x, which I don't think is going to happen, but if it does, it takes off, you want to make sure that you got your allocation in that. Okay, so my recommendation would be when SegWit 2x happens, you just sit tight and you don't have to do anything, but just sit tight and see what happens. I think probably the high probability is that support falls off every day for that 2x fork, and when we get another couple weeks into this, and I'll do a video covering that, but I think we might see that it's just probably looking like it's just going to be a minority fork. And I think once we get to that point, I have some theories that kind of going to leave that to the class, but as far as what happens after the fork. But don't worry about it. Go ahead and buy your Bitcoin. Don't let that affect your strategy as far as accumulating it. That's about it on that.
Yeah. Hey, Phil, can you maximize my chart on Ripple? I wanted to show people.
Oh, Ripple?
That's showing up right now. Yeah, the one I already have up.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wanted to tell the guys kind of like yeah, hang on. Here we go.
So this came to our attention. It started moving when Bitcoin was moving, and we got a long signal on this, and the moving averages were moving it with it as well. And this was like a 25% move here, and then it did two things. It's cupping, and it's putting a bull flag into our handle. And so if you want to take a shot at this, is that as long as this thing stays really, above like 22 or 23, if it breaks 28 here, you're looking at a move to 40 cents. And I don't know if you want to add anything, I feel, but this thing is just setting up beautifully. This big move here was accepted because it tried to break it 3 times and it could not. And now if it breaks this area here, you're looking probably at a 12-cent move here pretty quickly.
Yeah, I do want to add a little bit to that. Let me bring it up here on my end, and I'll flip charts real quick. Let's look. I'm going to look at it in terms of Bitcoin, because a lot of people, when they get into, if they're going to get to Ripple, they're going to convert from Bitcoin, use Bitcoin to buy it on the exchanges. So let's look here on the 4-hour. Okay, let me switch this over here. Okay, so what you're going to see is a massive amount of consolidation in this range here. It did, because of this dip here had a lot to do with kind of the altcoin massacre that happened this week, right? A lot of the whole segment just kind of sold off, and that was mostly, I would attribute that to the forking. But nice bottoming pattern that we have here. You could, not quite a head and shoulders, but definitely looks like this thing is ready to pop back up here. So I agree with Bob. I think looking at the volume coming in here, to me it looks like people are definitely accumulating at this level. So I think that yeah, it caught my eye too, Bob. I think Ripple is in a good spot here. If it busts above this 5,000 Satoshi mark, I think that's got a lot of room to run. But you can see a lot of people being accumulating it in this, and then when we did dip below this support, it quickly got bought up. So those are all good signs.
Yeah, and for me, it's an easy flyer to take, and so
Yes.
I like to see, and yeah, Brian, we're hearing rumors too. So, I think if the news is good, this thing's going to rocket. If there's no news, this bull flag should bust, and then you just get out. So, to me, the risk reward of risking 10% to gain potentially 50, I'll take that trade all day long. So, anyway, hey, we're running over time. I really appreciate everybody. And like I said, if you guys have any comments for us or thoughts in the future, you know how to reach us. And if you're not a member of what we do, please join us. I think you'll have a lot of fun, make a lot of money. What we charge for this stuff is nothing compared to what you get out of it. And we absolutely have your best interests at heart. I'll see you later.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Thank you.